Please stand by for a special announcement.
All change. This train not taking passengers.
Hey everyone. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I know I'm laughing pretty obnoxiously for no reason whatsoever. I always talk about being a voiceover artist, but it's kind of hard to say you're a voiceover artist if you don't actually get work. And a lot of my day is spent, I spend just doing stupid voices and making myself laugh. It doesn't matter what they are. Like that. Please stand by for a special announcement. I don't know why that sounds funny. I think it sounds funny because I know I can do that voice, but someone like me would never be able to do that. It would get the job to do those kind of voices for things like, you know, metro trains or I don't know what it is. Again, hey everyone, it's been a while. I have not been, I was going to start off with a lie, but I probably shouldn't. I was going to say I haven't been avoiding the studio on purpose. I've been really busy. Fact of the matter is yes, I have been busy, but the last time I was in with the boys, early July, end of June, whenever the hell it was, there was an issue with the audio. I don't know what it was. Everything was really quiet. Everything, like, it came up all right in the recording, but the playback was stuffed. I don't know. And then, yeah, the stand that I use, specifically my one, broke. Like, something broke on it. I couldn't be bothered dealing with it. And in my head, I was always, I've got to go get this sorted. And I never did, just because I'd always run late. Things would come up. And yes, I would be very busy. I came in, it's, Sunday morning. I think it's 11. What time is it? Yeah, about 11. And turned everything on, expecting a shit fight. And everything seems to be working. I can hear myself fine. I don't know. I didn't do anything. I didn't do it. See, I actually don't know. I'm tempted to just sort of walk away and say, okay, it works, it's fine. What I really need to do is actually go through these ball of rubber bands that I call cabling and figure out what is actually going on in this place. Even when I first got in here, it was a slap and dash job. I remember when I moved into this new place, which has been nearly 3 years now, I had Andy with me literally like 4 hours to get everything out of the old place and into this place. And it was more like just a dump and run. And then I just patched everything up, just trying to get it to work, and that was the end of it. I've never actually sat down and reconfigured the wiring in this joint. And I probably should, because I claim to be a professional, which I'm clearly not. I mean, seriously. But yeah, I have had one or two people asked to record in here over the last month or so, 6 weeks, and I've had to push them back because I wasn't sure if this place even worked. So I think, look, at least it works. So that's a good thing. It means I don't have to really replace much. There's a few things I can replace. And when I do that, then maybe, just maybe I'll have some more people in here. I just find these parts that sort of snapped. I got no idea what these are. Anyway, I don't know, everyone, there must be like two types of people. No, there's three types of people. There's more types of people. People that, like, something breaks and they say to themselves, that's an easy fix, I can fix that, I'll put it aside and never come back to it. People that say that's an easy fix and just do it, usually involves super glue and about 30 seconds of your attention. And then there's people that don't bother because they've got the money to replace whatever it is that they broke, and they don't think about it. They end up like me, with cupboards and cupboards worth of shit that's broken over the years that I can't bear to throw out because I know I can probably try and fix it. And I don't have the money to replace it, so I just go without, including, socks. Actually, I bought a sewing kit. This is going back. I was still in Noble Park, so this is, Jesus, it's going to be 5, 6, 7 years. I bought like a needle and thread because I know I can sew with a needle and thread, and I think a button came off the shirt. There was something like a button coming off a shirt or something basic, so I literally went and bought, needles and thread with the intention of sewing it, and I never did. I don't think I even opened the packet of sewing needles. The shirt's probably gone, like 100%. And I'm pretty sure when I moved last, I found the same pack of needles, the sewing needles, still fresh in the pack. And I don't know if I went to throw it out and said, no, don't do it. It's a waste of money. You bought these with the intent of using them. And I maybe have filed them away into like a toolbox or something. Or one of those shortbread tins. Everyone had them as a kid. And their parents put, maybe it's just an ethnic thing. Their parents would put all the sewing stuff in that tin. It was like buttons and needles and thread. Like, I remember that. Everyone has it. Everyone has it. I don't remember what the biscuits were. I know they were definitely shortbread covered in sugar and shit like that. Don't think I've ever had one of those biscuits in 30, 40, I'm turning 40, so easy 30, 35 years since the last time I had one of these things. But that tin lives on. I know if I go to my mum's house right now, into a garage next to a sewing machine, I will find that tin. I just came from my mum's house. I'm actually tempted to drive back just to get that tin out. Anywho, please stand by for an incoming announcement. I'm going to keep doing that till I get sick of it. I don't care. If you've switched off at this point, then chances are you probably didn't even listen to this shit to begin with. Yeah, it's interesting. I've had zero content out in the last, 2 months almost. And people are still tuning in. I don't know what they're listening to. Maybe back episodes. I got no idea. It sucks because, yeah, I finally sort of got my head around a roster and all this stuff, and I have people I want to line up and bring in, and I just haven't had a chance. There's definitely people that I've brought in that I want to bring back in, like Rob, Boogie, like there's so many other names of people. I was thinking about it today, the amount of people that would fly like straight off the handle, only met a handful of times, if that, and agreed to come in and share their stories and stuff like that, like Oz as well. There's so many people I want to bring in. I just haven't had a chance mostly because I was scared that I'd bring him in and this shit wouldn't be working. But no, it will happen. It definitely will happen. I'm trying to get some more semblance of a normal life sort of happening. And with my external office now that does allow for that, I'm no longer just sitting at my desk doing work for no reason till late hours of the night. So I will definitely try and get something up and running in the next coming sort of couple of weeks to a month. I really want to clean up in here though. When I moved, I bought a new rug, so my old rug is here. I've got 2 rugs that I essentially need to lay down. One that needs to go in the couch area, one that needs to go directly underneath the table, but I can't do that until I relay the wiring. Yeah, Jesus, it is a pain in the ass. Nevertheless, there's a sort of lot going on right now. I don't want to sound like one of those podcasts. It's like, we've got a lot to get through. Like I'm sort of self-important. There's more things that annoyed me that had come up. I started taking more notes. What have I got here? The root canal. Oh yeah, the root canal, $3,500. Thank you very much. Oh God, I had so much planned. So much shit after I got made redundant. Yeah, I got a tiny little bit of a payout and it was very, very small, almost insignificant. I paid off some money that I owed to a few people. I had to buy a new washer and a couch, my new place, a rug. I had some car repairs, and then just when I thought I was in the clear and I was actually going to spend some money on, was it recording equipment? I can't remember what I was going to buy. A bike? I don't know. I ended up having that root canal for $3,500. 90 minutes of work, $3,500. Jesus God Almighty, I'm in the wrong industry. How do they sleep at night? Yeah. Oh, okay. So I know what I want to bitch about. There's a bunch of stuff. Firstly was the Olympics. The furor around the Olympics from opening ceremony to close. I'll be honest, the only event I watched in the entire Olympics was the basketball, Boomers versus Greece. And the only reason I watched that game is because my cousin in Athens sent me a text of him sitting at his desk watching the game. And I went, oh, the game's on. So I literally turned the TV on. It was off. I turned the TV on, found the game, sent it back to him, and by default just watched the rest of the game. It was a shambles. Greece won. I know that America won the gold. I got no idea who they played in the finals. I don't know where Greece ended. It ended up, Boomers were out early as always. Well, not always. They won the bronze, I'm pretty sure, last time. Can't believe it's been 4 years since the last Olympics. Jesus Christ. Anyway, but yeah, the Olympics. France obviously just phoning it in, and it was disgusting. Okay, so I barely watched, like I said, barely watched anything of the opening, barely watched anything of anything to do with the Olympics. But the few things that I did watch I did take note of, was obviously the drag setup of the Last Supper, whatever it's called. The Last Supper. Jesus and his disciples, they had that parody of it. It wasn't even meant to be a parody. Oh, God. We'll start with that. It was insane. All right. Everyone knows I'm basically a practicing Gnostic atheist, but, I still respect other people's ability to have people's choice to have a religion and all that. And, I've said it before. I say it to people. I've been to moderate Muslim countries. I've been into mosques. I don't go in there in shorts and thongs. I respect the traditions. I've been to, Buddhist temples in Vietnam and Thailand. All the typical stuff you'd expect in religious monuments and things like that. I'll take the piss out of everything, and I'm happy to take the piss out of stuff. But they really shit the bed when they had drag queens and transvestites and such, and that guy with his cock out. It was apparently meant to represent Dionysus, the Greek, the ancient Greek god of mirth and merriment and partying and all that. It made no sense. Like, it actually made no sense. Even on like an artistic, aesthetic level, when you look at the effort that other countries have made with the Olympic Games, and I'm not even getting all handsy because it's, the Olympic Games were created by Greeks and blah, blah, blah. It's gone beyond that. It's a universal thing. It's for something for, essentially for all wars at its heart. All wars were meant to be put on hold when the Olympics were around. All wars, civil wars, every war would just put on hold. People would compete, and then they'd go back to tearing each other apart. That hasn't happened with the modern games. They've just not had the games, when wars have been on, like World War II and all that sort of stuff. There are currently wars going on. Games still happened. But even on just an aesthetic level, that Final Supper drag thing was just an absolute piss take. It looked lazy. It made no sense. Like, why? And the guy that did it, the artistic director, said he wanted to represent unity and what was the other thing? It's that far back. My notes on the thing are like literally years ago. What did he say? He said it was meant to represent like acceptance and broad culture and some shit like that. It was something totally benign, like made no sense. I definitely had saved it. I just I don't know where the notes are on it. Anyway, but yeah, the irony of it is when they promote mass acceptance and all that sort of shit, and they take something like, it's always a scene that's just inundated with LGBT, et cetera, tick the box sort of stuff, excluding, heterosexual men that are white. Like, it makes no sense. It's funny. It just gets funnier and funnier just watching it all sort of fall apart. John sent me John forwarded something to the group chat the other day, which I've seen before, but I forget about it and then I laugh all over again. And it's always it was Netflix redoing 1001 Dalmatians or whatever it is, or 101 Dalmatians, and they're just black dogs. Or, he sent another one about some Norse Viking warrior that was like a beast back in his day, so naturally Netflix would make him a woman in their telling of the story. It makes no sense. You can't rewrite history. Like, I hate rewriting history. I'm all for like acknowledging shitty history and apologizing for stuff, like that's fine, making a formal whatever, but just shoehorning the agenda in is just taking the piss now at this point. I don't get it. I mean, I get it. I just don't care for it. I'm just over it. Anyway, so yeah, that was shit. The opening ceremony was just so lackluster. They had the athletes on boats coming down the shitty sewage-filled river. It was the first time that the athletes weren't doing their march inside the stadium, but they were just on boats coming down the waters. Very, very considerate to have athletes on cold fronts facing splashback from a brown river. No chance of hypothermia or pneumonia there. They're very considerate of the French. Aesthetically, it looks crap because, I mean, you've just got a boat and whoever can clamber to the front of the boat, the flag bearer or whatever. See, that sort of thing. Like, Olympians they get raised and bred with the idea that they're going to represent their country in a stadium full of people marching proudly, la, 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 la. And I'm all for, they don't have to wear togas like they did in the ancient games or, men first, women in the back. Like, none of that shit. But, it's just the point. That's a really proud moment. And they managed to turn it into like a what's it called? Like a river cruise. It's just aesthetically, it made no sense. I don't know. Like, they're trying to be progressive. It just didn't work. I don't know. Hopefully they learn from the mistake. I can't remember who's hosting the next games. It was all over the news and I've forgotten. It's just, is there any point at this point? Anyway, the other pressing issue was Raygun. My God. What a shitstorm that's been. And I think the worst part about it is that I'm going to channel one of my mates here. Okay, so back in the day, back when I was like 18 and I started writing rants in the style of like Maddox and all them, back when it was cool to be angry and on the internet. Back in those days when we had PCs at home, we didn't have laptops, flat screens. I used to send the editorials out every couple of weeks or every week and then I started a website. At one point, I shared a space with my mate in Adelaide. It was called Zero Tolerance. And it was just a place to put like rants and shit like that. And I remember he wrote one, which I still laugh about. And if he's listening to this, he might get a kick out of it, of the fact that I remember it. But it was about when Ian Thorpe was competing. It was the qualifiers for the Olympics. And Ian Thorpe screwed up his dive. And he got, what's it called? Like eliminated or whatever from the qualifiers because he fucked up his dive. And someone beat him fair and square. But when it came time for the Olympics, they asked the guy that beat him to step down because Thorpe was Thorpe and he was setting records at that time. And they said, he's our best chance. Like, we realize he screwed up at the qualifiers, but he's still the best chance we have. Are you okay, to just step aside? And the guy ended up stepping aside and letting Thorpe in. And my mate wrote an article about how fucking ridiculous that was. And he broke down Thorpe's whole range of action, diving into the pool of he took off, realized he was an idiot, then fell in or something like that, to that effect. And God knows what if he gets to the Olympics and fucks up again and makes us look stupid on a world stage. And I remember him saying something like he may as well have come out with a hat and the hat with the corks to keep the flies away. And when I first saw this Raygun, our great hope in the newly trialed event of breaking, when I saw Raygun come out in a cricketer's tracksuit, I thought, Jesus Christ, this is it. And to this date, I have not allowed myself to watch her full routine. I just started seeing her doing those seal flapping moves, like a scissor jackknife and all that sort of stuff. And I said, this isn't just cringe, this is just outright embarrassing. So I forced myself not to watch it because I didn't want the algorithm picking up that I've watched it and just inundating me with more shit. She couldn't have looked stupider on a world stage where they're trialing a new event. Now, I'm not entirely for all the new events that they try and shoehorn into the Olympics, like skateboarding, I don't know. Whatever they are. Skateboarding was the last one that I remember. I don't know what else they've done since then. Like I said, I didn't follow any of it this year. But, yeah, skateboarding is a skill, and there is a systems-based point, like a system. It's system-based. Point scoring is system-based, and you can allocate it and judge it like accordingly, whatever. I mean, there's decades of that sort of happening. When they said breakdancing, I was initially like, really? Breakdancing? We had nothing else? And then I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? They are very athletic. Breakdancing is fucking hard at a high level. And you've got to have a strategy so you don't bust out your best moves at the start. You've got to be able to one-up your opponent. It's all about reading the opponent as well, not knowing what they've got in their repertoire. Very, very modern. But, yeah, I think there's room for it because it is aggressive as well. And it's peak fitness. Do the donkey or the scissor, like the sweeping scissors and stuff like that, the windmills and everything else. It's insane, right? So I get what they're trying to do. But then at the same time, we bring in Raygun, this 30-something-year-old white woman wearing, like I said, the cricketer's uniform, not even remotely urban or street, which is where it all originated from, let's be honest, doing these embarrassing moves, like just embarrassing, man. I'm a better breakdancer than she is, and I can't bend over to save my back. Like, seriously. I tie my shoelaces and 3 things creak, and then I'm bedridden for 4 days. Yeah. So to see that was just insane. And the backlash was immediate. There was almost zero supporters, except for the people that are expected to support it because they have no choice. But then when you looked a bit deeper, I mean, I've read a few articles on it. I haven't really searched aggressively on it, but just from what I remember. So she's a uni student doing like some sort of study or thesis, or she's a lecturer. I don't know, something to do with uni. And the pretense was that she was going there because she's doing a study. Now, there was a mob trying to get ballroom dancing into the Olympics, which I don't agree with. I think it's ridiculous. Synchronized ballroom dancing? Really? Like, it's literally, so you think you can dance. Like, come on, man. And look, and it's an argument to be made about breakdancing as well. But granted, breaking is an Olympic event. Still on the fence about it. Happy to see it trialed. But the athleticism involved in breaking and the aggressiveness when you're doing a one-on-one or whatever is clearly there, right? It's it's there. Ballroom dancing, we're talking about someone being like, the trip to light fantastic. Like, come on, man. Like, it's boring enough watching it. Unless you're watching something aggressive like the tango. See that? Or the bachata, whatever it's called. That would be pretty cool in the Olympics. Most people would be like trying to hide a hard on. Anyway, without shit canning at all, I recognize these people a lot fitter than I am, but it's not the point. Now, from what I understand is they petitioned to try and get ballroom dancing in. And when they realized they couldn't get ballroom dancing in, they created like a second attempt to try and get breaking in, right? Now, one of the coaches and judges, so the coach of the Australian team was this woman's husband, and they gave minimal time to put together like a qualifier event for the breaking entries, basically, like the athletes that were going to be going. Minimal time, minimal promotion, yada, yada. They bus her in, and she gets through and gets a free trip to Paris, right? Videos are starting to circulate of the woman that she beat in order to get into Paris. And the woman that she beats had like, the moves going, like the typical breakdancing moves, the sweeping of the leg, the feet, all that sort of stuff. She was doing it. She wasn't the best, but she was doing it. And that's who, when you compare it to Raygun's avant-garde take on, what breaking is, she had it, like, killed. But yet, Raygun ends up going to Paris instead. Now, Raygun's defense was that I was never going to beat these people athletically. Like, they were way miles ahead of me. So I went on my own take. And again, same typical shit, my truth. did the best I can, be yourself, blah, blah, blah. Fuck off. Okay? She didn't take it seriously. She knew she was outclassed. Like the swimmer that stood down, 20 years ago to let Thorpe in because we knew that Thorpe was the best chance we had. Man, I've said, and the thing is, I haven't spent a lot of time, I've tried to avoid it, but I've had a few back and forths with people online, usually Americans saying, this is what breakdancing is in Australia, what a joke, la la la. I personally know breakers and crumpers who have toured the world and battled competitively that shit all over anything Raygun's got in her repertoire. I personally have gone to events back in the days when I used to go to hip hop stuff and all that sort of shit. Personally know people in dance crews that had legitimate skill that would get the cardboard out and just kill it. And yet Raygun gets a pass. It is embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. And anyone that says she's just having a go can go fuck themselves. This is the Olympics. The Olympics come around every 4 years. They are literally the best of the best. The best of the best. That's who goes to the Olympics. Controversial decisions can happen, and the wrong athlete might get sent, but not by not by much. We're talking by fractions of a second, half a point. These are the margins that happen in the Olympics, unless you get someone insane like Usain Bolt, who dominated running. And to be fair, in his era of running, some of the fastest people in the world are running at the same time. So we were blessed to actually see that kind of talent and skill. Like with basketball, the Dream Team, the original Dream Team of 92, arguably one of the best basketball collectives ever put together. When you look at that roster, Jordan, Bird, Pippen, Magic, Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullin, it was just a who's who of the best basketballers of the 90s, and they steamrolled the competition because the world stage wasn't ready to take on teams like America. Now you've got, Greeks, Canadians and Germans and Spanish and stuff that just as good at basketball, or the Balkan teams, Serbia, legitimate championship teams, that will go to toe-to-toe with the Americans. But that's just, years of development. We're talking 30 years of development, right? But Raygun, under the bullshit circumstances that she got sent to the Olympics, and then take the piss and say, I went in with my artistic flair because it was going to be different, and I was showcasing things. Dude, fuck off. You did the sprinkler and the roo hop, something out of Michael Jackson's Thriller, but without the actual dancing. It made no sense, and it's absolutely embarrassing. And I hate the fact that is now stuck in the people are calling her an Olympian. Fuck off. Olympian. You call that an Olympian? I'm an Olympian. That is a joke. Absolute joke. I don't know. The other thing I remember reading was about France busting out meals, plant-based meals, to reduce the carbon footprint. Dude, you've got you got weightlifters in there, the weightlifters, you got the athletes. They're going to rely on, they need protein, man. How many mushrooms can they possibly force feed them? It's a joke. Absolute, grifting joke. Reduce the carbon footprint. Fuck off. Seriously. Yeah, talk stories of athletes having to go get their own meals, provide their own bedding because it was just ridiculous. Whatever, man. France fucked it. Seriously. And I don't even follow it 100%. And I was still embarrassed. God. Anyway, that was primarily what I wanted to bitch about. I don't remember. I had a few other notes, but I can't remember. Man, you had to replace the other day. Okay, so, doctor, I had a pain in my kidney or my liver, one of the two. I can't remember what it was. This is going back a bit. Probably talked about in the last episode that we actually got done, but I don't remember. And the doctor said, your cholesterol, your blood pressure, all that shit's up. Your typical Greek man, basically. You needed to make a few changes. And a few people suggested that I start doing the lemon water. And I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. So, and my mum came up with the genius idea of just freezing lemon water, lemon juice into ice cubes. And then every morning when I get my bottle of water out of the fridge to go on my day, put 2 ice cubes in the water and bing bang, you've got lemon juice. Sweet. Lemon water, to go, chilled, let's move. Now, I started doing it, which is brilliant, but in the move, I lost my lemon juice squeezer apparatus, right? Which, incidentally, no one knows the actual name of. nothing more ridiculous than me going to shops trying to pantomime what the actual tool is. Anyway, I ended up buying like a few different contraptions, and I couldn't find that standard Zesta thing, like where it's got like the ridges and the circle with the groove center. The thing we all know. I went to like so many different stores, $2 shops, like Big W, like Kmart. Like I could not find one to save my life. I ended up spending at least $40 on random shit that would break and not do the job. Finally, I was in Sunshine at a Sunshine Plaza or one of those ones. I don't know which one it was. I've gone into a $2 shop. I've asked the woman where it is. I nearly killed myself walking to the front desk where like the cashier is. I've like taken a sixer off one of these displays or whatever was there, like banged my knee. And the woman just looked at me, didn't even like ask if I was okay. Just, I don't know, I made a bad joke or something. She just stared at me like I was insane. And then I said, do you have one of those lemon things, la la la? And she sort of stared at me for about 20 seconds until I finally explained what I wanted. And she's like, oh, no, we don't have them. Go next door to Big W. Incidentally, there was no Big W next door. There's just like another bigger $2 shop, but it was like 60 times the size of her shop. I said, okay, I'll suss it out. And as I'm leaving, she's like, why don't you just use a fork? I'm like, sorry? She says, why don't you just use a fork? I'm like, yeah, why don't I just squeeze it on my forehead too? Oh, God. Anyway, yeah, but I ended up getting it. And after all that, I finally got one that was like cheap plastic and like $2. Changed my life. Oh, my God. Anyway, yeah, I don't think I have much more to say. It's already like half an hour of talking. I think that's enough. Yeah, like, share, follow, subscribe. Oh, it was so nice. I was at a wedding a couple of weeks ago, and while I'm like, yeah, I was trying to get a drink. I can't remember if I think maybe I was buying a drink at the time, or maybe it was just, no, I was actually back at the table looking for finger food. And, yeah, bloke comes up to me and goes, are you Duke? I went, sorry? Are you Duke? And I was like, what? He goes, are you Duke? And incidentally, on the back of my phone, I've got the podcast, one of the podcast stickers on the back of my phone. I'm like, you mean Duke? He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. And he ended up being a listener, like a random listener, mate of a mate. Yeah, so it was nice. It was actually nice to run into more people that actually listen to this shit. A guy I went on a road trip with yesterday to go get a car from out in Linton, the other side of the state, like 3 hours out of Melbourne, 2.5, 3 hours out of Melbourne. He mentioned that he listens to my shit from time to time as well, and I was surprised. Again, it always surprised me that people still listen in, but now, given that it's been like 6-7 weeks since the last drop, yeah, I think we've probably dropped off a bit. But yeah, it was nice. I want to say thanks to old mate that I ran into at the wedding, and I hope I didn't shock you too much, because I know at one point we were driving home and I had the sub just blaring, and we're like karaokeing hip-hop tracks from like 2001. Oh, God, that was hilarious. Great wedding. A lot of fun. But yeah, not much more to say. Please, yeah, if you listen to our stuff and you're not actually subscribing, just tune in, please like jump on it and just like it so we know what the hell's going on. And please don't keep us a dirty little secret. Please share. The only way we're going to grow is with you guys getting on board and putting it forward. Thank you very much. And yeah, hopefully we'll get an episode going that's of some substance soon enough. And if not, I'll drag in the low-hanging fruit. Either way, I need to clean up this place. I don't think I will. It's already nearly 12 and I've got to get going. I need to go home. I have shit to do. So yeah, smoke crack.
Hold up.